Ethan, welcome back. Thank you for being here. Now, your new movie, Blue Moon, takes place in the classic New York restaurant Sardi's.
Right.
So I thought that we could bring Sardi's to 30 Rock tonight. So for anyone who doesn't know Sardi's, sure, clap, of course.
Yeah.
It's the greatest. Sardi's has been around since the 1920s. It's become synonymous with Broadway. It is the place to go to dinner before and after a Broadway show.
Absolutely.
And one of the signature things about Sardi's is the portraits, these drawings on the walls. The biggest stars in Broadway have one, and over the years they've collected over 1,200 drawings. And all of the drawings around us are actually originals from the walls of the restaurant. They even lent us the real silverware. By the way, this is their plates that you have at Sardi's.
Classy.
And their bread basket. That's real bread from Sardi's right there. That's real deal. So thank you to everyone at Sardi's for letting us borrow everything tonight. You'll get it back. Ethan, welcome to the show. Welcome to Sardi's.
Put your napkin on your lap.
Thank you, of course. Yeah, white sails off the deck. You recently got your portrait up at Sardi's.
I did.
How does it feel for you to be?
Well, I feel like if you're a ball player, you want to be in the halls. And I remember I saw my first Broadway show. My mom took me. I was about 12 years old. And we went to see this play, Mornings at 7. I remember it was called. I remember the set and everything. I don't have any idea what was going on.
Mornings at 7.
But yeah, I don't know what it is.
It's just a play,
It's
yeah.
just a play. I saw this play, but we went to Sardi's afterwards, and I saw all these pictures up, and I didn't know who anybody was or anything, but I knew I wanted to be on that wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do in my life.
Come on. And now you could say you are on the wall. There you are, right there. Nice picture of you.
Yeah, and they put me next to Denzel. I mean, I've got good placement.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
It is a big deal. I brought my kids to Sardi's too, just so they can see it and get the fun of all these talented actors.
You know what's kind of funny? Is
Yeah.
right behind me, you've got Billy Crudup.
Oh, yeah.
Who happens to be a friend of mine, but not at first, because we used to go up, we used to audition for everything. And you know, when you're a kid, you think you're against everybody, right?
Yeah, of course.
You don't understand
There's
that
a
there's
team.
room for everybody to do find themselves and do their thing. So I would see him at every audition. I'd often have to be outside the room and listen to him do the scene before me. And
Oh
then
my
I go,
God, and you're like,
then
that
I just
kid's
look
good.
at him, and he was so good.
Yeah.
He was so irritated.
Yeah, you go, I don't like him.
know. And
Stop
then,
rolling.
in fact, I was offered a play once. I think he knows this. And I had to say no to it because I was doing a movie, right? It was a Tom Stopper play. And they gave him the part, and then his career took off. And I would sometimes just want to go back in time, take the part to stop his career.
Yes, of course.
You know,
we must stop Billy Crudup. He's too talented. You know what? I'm one of the reasons I think that he has a portrait on the wall because I actually begged Sardi's because I was on Broadway for.
Well, you were.
Thank you for.
How did it feel?
7 days. Thank
7?
you. Please.
Seven?
Please sit down.
7 performances. All right.
I'm so embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
It was Hamlet, right?
It was something like that, yeah. It was close to Hamlet.
Close
Yeah.
to Hamlet.
But it had letters in the title. And but I remember I just made a big deal that I was on Broadway, and I was only, I did 7 performances. I begged Sardi's, and they were nice enough to draw me a portrait. I am on the wall.
Oh, there you are. You look sharp.
And thank you. Yeah, it's a great picture of me there. I'm really smiley.
You're next to Audra McDonald.
I know.
So you've got
and
better
so
placement.
Billy came on and he goes, "How dare you be on the wall at Sardi's? I've been acting for my whole life. Really acting. I've been on theater."
It bugged him, huh?
Yes.
You
it drove him
7
nuts.
measly performances. This guy's crushed himself forever.
So what he didn't know was Sardi's had drawn him a portrait, and I had it behind my desk, and I surprised him on the show, and he literally teared up. Started getting like really hot and kind of flustered and almost started crying kind of and going like, "Is this real? Like, are you doing a bit?" And I go, "No, this is actually real."
Well, he's the real thing, and that story actually tells all of you watching this how real Sardi's is, what it means to people who do what we do. You know that there's something about the legends of Broadway and the Broadway audiences. You know, just people, families, people come to shows. People have seen.
Nothing
you got Liza Minnelli up here. There's got so many.
Everybody, yeah, and honestly, we're so lucky to have Broadway so close to us, and they've been guests on the show and performing on the show, and that's why.
Now you're a Broadway luminary yourself.
Yeah, exactly, of course. But you know, so Blue Moon. It's a knockout performance, Ethan. This one is a crusher. It's you. There's other people in the film, but you carry this. It's almost like a monologue. I want to get into this. Lorenz Hart, who was Rodgers and Hart, one of the best composers out there. But what makes me love you even more is Blue Moon came out. And I think the same weekend or the next weekend, Black Phone 2 came out.
Yeah, see, I have range.
Yes, thank you. You have range. You do. But I was like, how is Ethan juggling this great career? Is there a genre that you haven't done? Because I've seen you in romantic comedies or romance dramas. I mean, you're a ladies' man. You're a stud. I've seen you in drama. I've seen you in action movies, Training Day, Before Sunrise.
I grew up loving movies so much that I call myself like I'm genre agnostic. I love movies.
You do, yes.
Yeah, and so I like to go see some weird art film. I like to go see a good scary movie. I like to see a Western. And I had this idea when I was first starting that it's kind of morbid, but I was thinking about what I wanted my obituary to say. And I want to, no, in a good way. I want to say, this guy has one good movie in every genre. And I thought like that would be, like, what if you could do that? What's that?
You're close.
I know, it's getting scary. It makes me feel old that I actually I've
you're not
checked
going
a few off.
No,
Yeah.
but you actually have. What is the genre you haven't done?
All right, you know what? When I see movies like Talladega Nights,
Okay.
I want to be in it so bad.
Okay.
Like, why does he? You're friends with Will Ferrell or something. Hook a brother up. You know? I could drive those cars.
Right?
You know, I could make a fool out of myself.
You should do a movie with Will.
I want to.
Yeah, you got to do a comedy. The good news is they're making them again.
Well, that's nice. But you know, one of the things that I like about Richard Linklater films, like you mentioned, the Before Sunrise, that whole series, but basically every movie he does is a comedy. And one of the things that I love about Blue Moon, because it is sad and it's heartbreaking, but it's funny.
You're really funny.
It's a funny movie, and Rodgers and Hart are funny. That's what we wanted the whole movie to feel like a Rodgers and Hart song, kind of classic in its structure, but just walking that razor's edge between silly, stupid, and profound. Like when you walk on that.
You're talking to the bartender who's played by Bobby Cannavale, fantastically, by the way.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of complaining about the business and talking about and being judging things and going, well, no, this play means nothing. But what is it? But you're like kind of like you could see that you're desperate.
I'm about to have a nervous breakdown about how bad this play is.
Yes, and it's like it's heartbreaking to watch a man break down like that. But you still have ideas, and you're still you, and you ask the piano player, "Hey, do you remember my song? Yeah. Do you know Blue Moon?" Yeah. Anyway, I wrote that. No big deal. And it's like kind of, but it's and it looks nothing like you, by the way. Great job, hair and makeup.
Yeah, David Atherton. Shout out.
Were you
to him.
really bald in that? Did you shave your head?
I shaved my head, but worse than bald is I grew my hair long, and then I shaved this part and left this part long so I could do the comb over.
Oh my God!
Which is fine on set, but when you're going to buy coffee in the morning, you know, I looked like a full-blown lunatic, and it was devastating to my self-esteem.
Yeah.
I got no time from anybody.
And also, by the way, how did you play? Because he's much shorter than you in real life. How did you play?
He was about 5 feet tall, so that was a little trick for the movie.
How did you play short? How did you do that? Because Margaret Qualley's tall.
Margaret Qualley, Bobby's tall. They're all tall. But I thought about it like, well, what would Charlie Chaplin do? We didn't want to do like VFX. We wanted to be old school. The movie needs to have soul, or it's not any good, right? So any of the hair and makeup, all those tricks don't mean anything if it doesn't have soul to it. So we just did it the old-fashioned way, shot by shot. We did, if they can make Humphrey Bogart look tall, they can make me look short. That's what I figured. So
Angles?
Angles, trenches, and sometimes we blocked the whole movie out, and we could build a trench about a foot shorter for me to walk through. And we would raise the paintings up and the seats. Like if we were in this, my bench would be lower than your bench, right? It was just little tricks all the time. But all that wasn't important really, except for this is how he was the smallest person in every room, and he was the biggest person in every room. Yes. He was the bravest, and he was the most nervous and insecure. He was gay and in love with a woman. He was full of contradictions. Everything about him was complicated, and that's what made the part so kind of thrilling to play.
So many memorable scenes in it for me, but I remember, but there's a part where Oscar Hammerstein comes into Sardi's, and he's just jealous that he has a career and he's about to have another career without him.
And I've just been bad-mouthing him for about 45 minutes.
Completely.
And the second I see him, I tell him he's a genius.
Wonderful, yeah, it was a great role. Yeah, but it's just so
We've never been like that.
Never.
We've never been disingenuous.
No, of course not.
No.
But it was just so well done, and just like you just kind of see it all unfold, and I just didn't want it to end, and you really took this and ran with it. And I gotta say, buddy, another home run, kick-ass performance from Ethan Hawke. I mean, phenomenal. I want to show a clip. Here's Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon. Take a look.
So, you up for that? You feeling healthy? Is that something you could take seriously?
Yeah, I'm on the wagon, Dick. I'm serious. I've been drinking ginger ale all night. Well, except for this second, because this second we have to celebrate. This is the greatest musical in the history of American theater.
No, I'm not drinking with you, Larry.
Okay, all right. Ouija, shoot this, huh?
What? Oh, no.
No.
Larry, I gotta...
Rogers and Hart, together again.
All right, closer. Come on, closer.
I want 10 copies of that.
Great. Write me a check.
Oof. Ethan Hawke, everybody. That's right. Blue Moon is available on digital platforms now. We'll be right back with more Tonight Show. Stick around.